The top 5 mistakes that realtors make in a real estate closing. My name is Jonathan Breeden. I own the Breeden Law Office. I've been doing divorces and family law for 25 years. These are the things that I see. If y'all got questions or April has questions, you can ask me. Our website, breedenfirm.com, it's got tons of resources. I did write a book 5 years ago, and it talks a little bit about custody, but it also talks about property distribution. And that's where y'all come in. The single largest asset that anybody has, most everybody out here has in Johnston and Harnett counties, where most of our cases are, is the house. And everybody's had a house out here 5 years, has equity, because all the houses went up $150,000 during COVID. Our goal here today is to provide information for y'all, answer your questions, become a resource for you, right? Outside of the attorneys themselves, the realtor is probably the most important person in the divorce. 80% of the people that come into my office, the equity in the house is probably 70% of the total assets. And the one thing that I keep saying to people is, you can't take the equity in the house to Food Line and put food on your table, because they got $100,000 in a house it's not liquid. And so really what they need to do in almost all these cases, almost all the divorces that we do, they need to sell a house. The first mistake, and it's the biggest mistake, not getting both signatures on the listing agreement. Absolutely the number one mistake I see realtors make. Seriously, make sure that everybody's on the same page and that they understand the listing agreement. Because here's the thing about divorces, y'all. In 95% of the divorces I've done, one person wants a divorce and one person doesn't. And the person that doesn't is going to be impossible to deal with. Because when you go through a divorce, you're going to go through all the stages of grief. One of the first stages of grief is you're angry. You are mad. And you are and you want to get even and take it out on the other side. Eventually, you get to the over it stage, which is kind of the last one. You process the loss, whatever it is. In my experience, the side that wants a divorce grieve the end of the marriage for 12 to 36 months before they separated. And that side is ready to be done. The other side that didn't want it or didn't see it coming, they are going to have to go through all those stages while we're litigating the divorce and while you may be trying to sell the house, which is going to make them extremely difficult to deal with for everybody, because they are really upset. You're going to have to be dealing with these people, some of which have a mental illness, some of them have personality disorder, or they have both, while they are in the most stressed situation of their thing. And you throw in the fact that half of the people didn't want this, and you are dealing with a powder keg of emotions and everything else. So keep that in mind. 2, communication. It is crucially important that you communicate with both parties simultaneously or nearly simultaneously. This allows you to diffuse emotions, discourages game playing, and it builds trust, right? You need these people to trust you so that when you tell them this is a good offer and you should take it, they believe you. Another thing that happens emotionally you have to think about is, for some people, the selling of the home, particularly if you're the person who doesn't want the divorce, is another sign that the divorce is actually going to happen. You have to remember, a lot of people that separate get back together. But when it comes time to actually sell it, that's one of those signs that it's real. Like, this is like, oh my goodness, like, we're going to sell this. Like she's serious. Like, everything can be smooth until you get an offer that they probably should take. And then they may start backpedaling. I need more money, blah, 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 blah. And it may not be the offer itself. It's the thought that this is the end. So you want to communicate. You want to build as much trust as possible. If you get a report, let everybody know so everybody's on the same page of it being shown, not shown, that kind of stuff. Number 3, you want to be neutral, right? You don't want to be taking sides. It's real easy, because we're human beings, to feel sorry for one or the other. But that's not going to get this house sold, and it's not going to build the confidence and the trust with the husband if he thinks you're on the wife's side. 4, know the legal documents. If there is a separation agreement that governs the sale of the house, or if there's an equitable distribution order from the court that governs the sale of the house, you need a copy of it. and you need to read it and you need to understand it. Property distribution in North Carolina is called equitable distribution. That is where the court is charged with equitably dividing the property among the parties as equal as possible. There are reasons for it not to be exactly 50-50. 95% of the time, they're going to try to make it 50-50. And as part of the distribution of the property, the house gets sold. One thing to remember, courts can't order the house sold. The court can reward the house to one party or the other, and they can make the other party pay the other one out, but can't actually order the house sold. Now, if they say you got 60 days to pay $75,000 distributive award because you're going to get this house, the court didn't order you to sell the house, but if you can't refinance it, you're going to have to sell the house, and you're going to have to sell it quickly because you got to pay this award. The other thing is, we see in divorces, the party that is in the house doesn't actually want to move. So they're going to want to make this difficult. They want to make it look like they want to sell, but they don't actually want to move. The party that's not in the house needs to have something to force the other side to take the deal. But if they have these documents, if a separation agreement has been signed or an order has been entered, and in the majority of cases there won't be, but in some there are, particularly the high conflict ones, you need to get a copy of it and see it and understand it. And what they normally say is, they're going to list the house. How are we going to pick the realtor? It has to be a licensed realtor. They have to be on MLS. I want them to be motivated sellers. I define in my agreement, what is a motivated seller? They need to make it available for showings. It needs to be clean. They shouldn't reject any closing showing that they get at least 24 hours notice of. They need to be responsive to the realtor, right? They need to answer the realtor's emails, calls, let them write back. It also says we're going to list the house at a price that the realtor says, because they're probably not going to agree. And then the price is going to drop 2% or 3% every 30, 60, or 90 days. And they have to take any offer within 3% of the current list price, or they have to both agree to reject it. And that's the key that you want to see in any agreement. The fifth one is you want to make sure that the listing agreement is clear, that they understand it. It needs to be priced realistically. A house that's not priced right isn't doing anybody any favors. It's just going to lead to disappointment and lack of trust. But if you got somebody that is flat refusing to list at a reasonable price, let them go. Just let it go. It's not worth the effort. If they're not wanting to be realistic on the list price, they're not going to be realistic on the sales price. And your time and money and efforts would probably be built somewhere else, and let it be somebody else's problem, particularly in a divorce. Other thing is, we've run into, and I've learned this over the years, not all houses are set for traditional financing. You have to have flooring to get traditional financing. It can't be missing carpet in 2 or 3 rooms. It can't have dog urine stains and all this stuff to actually get regular financing. You need to learn very quickly what houses qualify for traditional financing and what don't. That is very important, because if you can't get traditional financing, the price is going to be 20-25% lower, and you're going to have to get a cash buyer, which means it might be an investor, and that's going to lower the price.
So let me ask this. Does it matter with the equitable distribution who left or what was the reason?
When it comes to he cheated, he left, that may matter in custody, and it might matter in post-separation support and alimony. It doesn't matter in the property distribution. The only thing that matters in the property distribution is if one side has laid waste to the property. 50-20 in the statutes. You can Google NCGS 50-20. The statute's about 2 pages long. It's not written in hieroglyphics. It tells you that it should be equal, and it's only not equal if you have these 20 things, and these 20 things are rarely ever come into being. And for most judges, even if you have them, they're not going to find it. Or you'll see this in what y'all do. One side is maxed out the line of credit on the house right at the end, right before they leave. And the repairs are also a huge argument, and we have to deal with those sometimes too. If you're seeing that there's going to be repairs, maybe even at the listing appointment, like you're walking the property and you're like, that's not going to work. You need to have those conversations early, and what you can do with $75,000 in the bank. Right. Because if that's what the half of the equity, is probably going to be. Like, I know you hate him, but like, wouldn't you like to have $80,000 in 2 weeks? And once again, it's all about the emotions, right? It's nothing y'all did or anything. It's just people going through a divorce and not wanting to see the end, wanting to mess with the other side however they can, and they're going to go back and forth and back and forth, and that's what you're going to be looking at, and you're stuck in the middle just trying to sell a house. If you have any questions or whatever, we'd be glad to help. The book can be downloaded from my website for free. So they can go there, breedenfirm.com, download the book. I'd be happy for anybody to have it. I want people to have it. They can get it on Kindle for $14.95 off Amazon. It talks a little bit about selling houses and a little bit about divorce in general. But seriously, we want to be a resource. So we have our website, probably 400 pages and 100 blogs. The book itself, we have a YouTube channel where we have over 150 informational videos where I'm answering common questions, like some of the ones you heard me talk about today. They can go there and watch those. Of course, I have my podcast, Best of Johnson County. Every fifth or sixth episode, I answer family law questions. And so I have talked about this on an episode. So they can go there and listen and find it. Just look, scroll back where I talk about houses and distribution. So much information. And as April said at the very beginning before I started talking, if you don't know your rights, what rights do you have? That's why I'm here today, because these houses need to sell, right? They need to sell, and they need to sell yesterday, and these people need to move on. And that's what I want y'all to do, and do it successfully. So take a book, take a card, reach out to me. Be glad to answer any questions. Go to our YouTube channel, our podcast. It's the information's out there. Be glad to help y'all. Thanks a lot.